Have you ever felt like no matter how many time management hacks you try or productivity tips you enact, that there's just something still holding you back? Here's why unhealed trauma might be the real reason and what you can do about it. Hey, beautiful human, it's me, Rebecca Wiener McGregor, and welcome to another episode of Effective Immediately, the show where we talk mindset, abundance, healthy emotions, and leadership, and I give you a shift that you can make effective immediately. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, very first thing that I want to acknowledge today is that we are not talking about productivity as a way to equate it to or determine your value. Okay? Productivity is a really big thing, especially for us Gen Xers, and I want to acknowledge that I don't want there to be any mistake about this being about how productivity will make you more valuable. What you produce, your output, what you do in this world being equal to your value. They are not equal. You are valuable, you are valuable, and you are worthy because you exist. Okay? And at the same time, we're business owners, we're entrepreneurs, we're parents, we're people working in the community, and we have things that we need to get done, right? We have a passion, we have a mission, we have a next level that we want to go to, and being able to be productive, take steps, do the things that we need to do is definitely important in order to get to our next level vision, to impact the people that we want to impact, etc. So be very loving with yourself. If any of that old productivity stuff comes up about, I'm not as productive as I could be, and if I was more productive, maybe I would be more valuable. If any of that comes up, I want you to be really loving with yourself. Okay? Really loving, really kind, really generous with yourself, because there are reasons that that is a thing for you as well, and that is related to the unhealed trauma. Okay. So we're going to dive in here now that I've made my big, bold disclaimer, okay? One thing that is really important right off the bat is that trauma and the way we process an event, painful event, difficult event, where we've been hurt or betrayed or worse, is very subjective, very personal for each person. And the beliefs that come out of those traumas are very different and also have some similar threads to them. Okay, so I want to be really gentle in talking about this and loving, of course. And as you go through and you notice things that may be coming up for you, that's okay. That's all right. Because that means that we're this much closer to a solution for you. Okay? All right, so the response of trauma. The response to traumatic events that we create in our body that feels traumatic, right? The emotions and the beliefs creates a baseline of overwhelm, hypervigilance, or avoidance, making focus and action feel impossible. So if you've ever been in one of those moments where you were wondering, okay, can I do this thing? Can I create this thing? Can I take this next step? Can I do the thing that I need to do? There's something underneath if you're not being able to move forward. Okay? So just noticing that and getting really, really honest with yourself about the roots of why these certain things come up. Okay? The cycle of procrastination and then self-doubt and then potentially burnout is a very difficult trap that we can get into when we're trying to be productive, we're trying to move ahead, we're trying to get things done. Because old trauma can make us question ourselves, question our value, question our brilliance, question our genius, question our talents, question our knowledge, question our ability to succeed, and so much more. So if you can imagine having a project that you want to work on, something big that's come up for you, and maybe even it's a day-to-day thing that you need to get done for your business or for your home or for your life, whatever it is. And there is this underlying thing that is making you either afraid of success or afraid of fear or both. Like, what if I do this and I fail at it? What if I mess it up? What if it's horrific? What if the results are bad? And it doesn't even have to be a catastrophic circumstance that makes it bad, right? That somebody maybe says something that you don't quite like, has a reaction to it because of whatever they're going through that doesn't quite make sense to you. We can even just imagine that this is like making a birthday cake, right? We don't even have to take it into our businesses. But having this feeling of, okay, I want to make this cake. I want to make it special. I want to make it great. You can imagine that there is a similar feeling there to wanting to take a next step in the business, right? You want it to be special. You want it to be amazing. You want it to be perfect. And the self-doubt creeps in. Okay, I've never done this before. I've never done it this way before. What if I can't get it done? What if it's lopsided? What if it's messy? What if it falls apart? What if it tastes terrible? What if they don't appreciate all the work that I put into it? And this is the cake, right? This is like supposedly one of the easy things if we're just making a simple homemade birthday cake. Now imagine those feelings moving over into something that you want to get done, some next level that you want to create in your business. You know it's there. You know this next brilliant idea that you have is ready to be unleashed to the world, but you're having similar thoughts. What if it's not going to be great? What if it's not going to be perfect? What if I can't control the circumstances? What if the people are upset? What if I get a bad review? All of that stuff starts turning long before we ever take action. And this, you'll notice if you have old stuff in your old closets, thinking about, well, this situation made me think less of myself. Because this situation happened in my life, I don't think I'm as valuable as other people. Because I had this big failure, what if this is a failure too? Because I was treated this way, or because I've had a history of being treated this way in my life, then maybe I'm not able to do the things that I want to do. Maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. I keep getting in the same kind of relationship over and over. Maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. So you can see how these old stories can churn and stop us from taking action, stop us from stepping into the action and getting stuff done. Not to mention getting it done in a reasonable amount of time, but getting it done at all, getting it started at all. And then the cycle of self-doubt can move into, okay, I'm doing the thing, but is it okay? Is it all right? And then that leads to lots of stops and starts. If we get scared about completing something and what's on the other side of it, it's really hard to stay on track with it. So imagine that you want to add a new program to your business. Excuse me. You want to add a new program to your business and you are so ready, you feel it in your bones, but there's some part of you that is questioning, okay, I had that failure. What if I can't get this off the ground? What if it won't work? So you can imagine not working on the program, not looking for new clients for the program, not finishing what needs to be finished so you can launch the program, because there's little threads of self-doubt in there. You might get really close. You might start talking about it. You might get really excited and then pull back when it's time to implement. Someone recently shared with me too that there's always room for being more perfect. There's always room for better. There's always room for improvement. And how that idea Well, it seems really great sometimes, like, oh, I'm always striving to be better than I was before, can actually stop us from taking action because, well, if we get it to this level, then we're going to notice that there's more improvement and it's going to be a never-ending project, and that doesn't feel good. So you can feel that self-doubt, creeping in and stopping you from taking action because there's these little threads that are related to these old experiences that are tied to the present. So then we come up to this place where it's time to launch, it's time to move forward, it's time to do the thing. Then we got to put all of our energy, heart, and soul into the tasks. We've got to get it done. We've got to get it right. We've got to get it perfect. Perfect. No matter what happens, I've got to work on this. I've got to get it done. I've got to get it out there. Complete exhaustion. We've moved now into this very short amount of time where we've got to put all our energy in to get it done, to get it out there, to get it perfect. Yeah, if you've ever felt any of those things come up where there's self-doubt, there's confusion, there's stalling, there's avoidance, and then all of a sudden you got to put everything into it and become completely exhausted to complete it. There may be some old stuff that's tied to that for you. This is not uncommon. Most people have it, and you're not wrong. Okay, you're not wrong for having this thing. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, because there's a lot that can be done here. So infusing love into the situation, giving yourself lots of love and lots of grace is extremely powerful in these situations. Honoring how you're feeling, honoring what's happening, talking to yourself rather than ignoring your desires, ignoring your fears. Some of us will retreat and we will work on something else completely different. We'll start a new project. That's really a fun thing for visionaries to do too, is to avoid the current project and start 26 other projects that may not be as important but feel really important and exciting because of the stories that we tell ourselves about getting in there and the potential to fail or the potential to succeed and have to have our lives changed. Now, we've talked about fear of failure and fear of success many times as they weave themselves through our businesses. But often it's not about the productivity, right? It's not about the time management. It's not about the hack to getting the thing done. It's about the feelings behind what will happen if I succeed, what will happen if I fail, what if I can't finish it because I'm not as smart as I think I am, or as talented or as gifted, I don't have enough support, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. All of these ideas, all of these thoughts are tied to beliefs related to trauma. So first off, being super loving with yourself and acknowledging when these things come up and connecting with yourself and talking yourself through it like you would a friend. Not in the harsh, negative way that we talk to ourselves sometimes. Okay, just get this done. Just focus, just push, just get it done. Get it out there to the world. Do the thing so you can get on to the next thing. And I know some of the way that we talk to ourselves is way worse than that. So imagine infusing love here. Imagine bringing this most beautiful self-talk in. Okay, friend, you've got a big project ahead of you. You've got a big list of things to get done. How are we going to do this? What steps are we going to take? And then acknowledging when certain stories come up, certain beliefs start peeking through about the way that you can or can't get it done. Because sometimes what will happen is that the trauma will help us get to a certain level. It will help us succeed to a certain level. But then we have trouble getting past that because we use the trauma as fuel. to push forward and to get to that certain level. We were able to do it because we're fighters, because we're scrappy, because we were able to just put everything we had into getting to that next level. Now, moving on past that, moving on to the level of success that you now dream of, that you now visualize for yourself, that you now imagine for yourself, can be very scary because of old stories. That trauma that fueled you to get to the level that you are right now, where you really know you have a beautiful life, a beautiful business, things are going well. It fueled you just enough to get to this space to prove something, can sometimes keep you from going to the next level. Okay, you got here, you were scrappy, you were a fighter, you got to this place, but do you have that in you to get to the next place? Do you have that in you to get to the next level? See, there's constant conversation happening in our conscious and subconscious mind about all of this. When we have this, we get to this place with sheer grit and we think, okay, now do I have that in me to get to the next place? Do I have the energy to do that again? Or the realization that I can't do it that way again because I will burn out, I will impact my health, I will lose my relationships, or whatever the case may be. So we have to begin to watch the story and then begin to unravel the story to heal the past. Okay, here's another example. There may have been some failures. There may have been some struggles. I've tried everything. I've put new messaging out. I've done all the things, and it's just not working. It's not hitting. It's not feeling the way that I want it to. So you escape, right? You find something, some way to escape. Maybe it's into a new project. Maybe it's into videos. Maybe it's into conversations with friends. Maybe it's just naps, right? Avoiding the thing that needs to be done is often a key that something in your past is feeding you information because of the beliefs that were created during that time that you can't get further than where you are, or that it can't be the way you want it, or you've done something wrong, or it's not right for your success at this level. I mean, you're good for, you can get here, right? You got to this place where you're very successful, but the next level, I don't think that's for you. So we start to avoid. We let fear begin to erode our ability to get things done. Okay, so practicing, once again, being very loving with yourself. If you've seen yourself in any of these stories, in any of these examples, that's okay. Trauma has happened to all of us in some way, shape, or form. So being loving with yourself is the start of how you heal all of those old stories and all of those old beliefs. Taking the time to zoom out just a little bit and ask yourself, what's really going on here? What am I really afraid of? What's really happening here that doesn't feel quite right? What's under the surface here? These are the questions that I want you to begin to ask yourself as your effective immediately moment of the week, okay? As you are experiencing these things, the question of what's really happening here is extremely powerful. You can ask yourself, what's the belief? What's the obvious thing that's happening? And then look at what's the belief that I'm holding underneath that belief? What's the story that I'm telling myself underneath that story? And go and dig a little deeper. For many of my clients, old moments of shame, old moments of betrayal or being mistreated or having failures or not succeeding in the way that they wanted to in a different situation where it wasn't really a failure, but it didn't quite get to the level they wanted to. After putting all of this energy, you want to go. So being super loving with yourself will help you to explore and get to the depths of this. Now, one of the things that's really special about how we can heal this is using my whole life happy method and regression to go to the past experience to heal and neutralize the experience. So the feeling that happened in your body, the stories that you were telling yourself, the beliefs that were happening in your mind that were being created can all be healed and neutralized. Now, the amazing part of this is that every time you heal some part of you, there's space for new beliefs, new stories, new ways of being to fill in those old spaces. And as you heal the past experiences, as you begin to shift the way that you see yourself, the levels of success that you see for yourself, the magic really is that you begin to feel the drive. You begin to feel inspired to take action. You begin to know that you can take one step at a time without being completely overwhelmed and stopping yourself. This is a very swift process, and it's part of a greater program that will help you really change the way that you identify yourself, the way that you look at yourself, the way that you see your work, your vision for the future, and putting it all together so that you can have a life that you love and a beautiful business and mission and passion built around it. So as we come to our close today, I want you to acknowledge yourself. When you get to this space where you are struggling to move to the next step, ask yourself, hand on heart, what's really behind this stop? What's really behind this feeling? What's the belief? What's the real story here? Asking yourself that, and then allowing yourself to speak lovingly to yourself so you can take the next step. If you want to explore this further, please reach out to me, where you can send me a DM wherever you see this video, or you can connect with me at callwithrebecca.com. Have a beautiful week. Take wonderful care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.